towards the end of our conversation. Any other points that we should highlight, Billy?
I don't know. I think we did a pretty good job
Yeah,
of
covering
covering
them.
most things here. Maybe if you want to pull up the product portfolio real quick, we can talk through
Yeah,
that. We obviously
yeah,
talked about the Hail modules, but we've got some other great
yeah.
modules
Let's
as well.
talk a little bit about these residential products too, maybe, and
Yep.
smaller.
Yeah, so our current product is the NEO9 RC point oh 0.05. Um, that's made overseas currently. In the
Hmm.
future, we plan to assemble the NEO9 RH point oh 0.05, the module to the right
Hmm.
there,
This one. Yep.
here in the US at Wilmer.
Hmm.
The residential industry in particular is really, it's very beneficial to have US made products. You know, customers want a product on their home that looks good, they can feel good about, and so having that locally made product is really important to them. So we're really excited about that.
What's the difference between this premium version of the 430 watt product versus the other one?
So the similar to the hail resistant module, that premium version has thicker glass as well, and so
Okay. So the same
that's
thing applies for homes, essentially.
basically, I mean, hail is going to impact homes as well, and so you do want the
Sure.
thicker glass. But there's also
Yeah.
other things. I was out at RE Plus, and someone I worked with previously was telling me how they had modules on the roof, and some kid threw a rock at it, so it
Right.
damaged it.
Sure.
Also,
Yeah.
there's a lot of modules installed near golf courses, so
Yeah.
there's various things like that. The other benefit, though, is that the thicker glass allows it to have kind of higher downward pressure forces and uplift pressure forces on it, and that's beneficial,
Mhm.
like we talked about, for dealing with wind. So this
Yeah.
module will be more successful in southeastern Florida as well.
I'm not expecting you to know the answer to this, but I'm just wondering, like price wise, how much more expensive is this just for the panel? Like, is it 5-10% more expensive, or is it 20-30% more expensive?
Uh, Lower than you would think, and in some cases at parity, because again, like
Oh,
if
because you
if you
you
look at
don't
the
do the back.
NE19
Yeah.
versus the NEG19 RC, it's 4 millimeters total of glass for the existing 2 millimeter, two
Right.
millimeter, and we're going down to 3.2 millimeters total of glass. So
Yeah.
again, the components inside are very similar, and so
Right.
it's really not a huge price difference. It's just having the product you want for the area you're in.
Got it. Cool. And anything else we should mention about the commercial size panels, or
Yeah, we can maybe,
utility?
so the commercial panels, NEG19RC, that's been kind of our bread and butter. It's used in both commercial and utility
Yeah.
currently. And
This the
so,
620 watt panel, basically,
yeah,
on here. Yeah.
yeah. So we've had a lot of success with that one. And again, our hail resistant module is essentially the same
Yeah.
innards, the same components with thicker glass. So we expect to have a lot of success with that as well in the hail regions. And then the utility modules, so we have an older kind of P-type module, which is that
Right.
DEG21C. But
Yeah.
coming out next year, we're really excited about the one all the way to the right, that NEG21C point 2.0.
Hmm.
Very high power, very high efficiency, TopCon N-type module. And we talked about P-Vals testing before and the PQP testing. Every year they put out kind of a top performers list. All these different
Yeah.
modules are going through this gamut of testing, and they
Yeah.
have top performers in all the different categories of testing they do. And the NEG21C was a top performer across all the testing categories, which I think only either 3 or 4 other modules can say kind of met that category or
Yeah.
that criteria across thousands of modules tested. So really
Are, are
excited.
the dimen are the dimensions of the 720 watt panel the same as 665 watt panel?
They are, yeah. So they're both using that G12 size cell.
Yeah.
And if you look at the left there, the G12 is 210 millimeter by 210
Yeah.
millimeter
Yep.
versus the
These are.
G12R, which is
Yep.
210 by 182. And so both of the utility scale modules we have, the
Are using the.
DG21 and the NEG21, are both using that larger scale cell format. And as a result, they have the same frame dimensions as well.
Wow. Impressive that it has almost 10% more wattage on a panel the same size with slightly higher. Actually, it has almost 10% more the efficiency. That's probably why.
Yeah, well, it's also a change from kind of P-type technology, so perk technology to
Sure,
the
sure.
TopCon N-type,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so